Hello and welcome to episode 34 of our Timberborn Update 7 Iron Teeth Project 1K playthrough here, cycle 68, day 26. We have less than 1 day left in the cycle, which currently is a drought, and I thought this would be the perfect time for us to make a couple quick checks before we hit open on this badwater contraption, because some of you have pointed out some stuff that I think I might have missed, and we don't want to cause a flood. So let's hit pause, just real quick, and go layer by layer to make sure everything is perfectly set, ready to go. We kind of had a marathon building session in the last episode, and I ended it without testing. So we're going to do that. Very bottom here, we go up one more layer so we can see these things down here, the impermeable floors. We do have those. I'm 99% sure under every single tile, but we are going to take a quick look here. It looks like those are good to go. The reason I went with that is because it's going to prevent the bad water from touching the ground and should prevent any contamination from occurring, although I imagine because of the way that this has been done, we may have some overflow, quote-unquote, well, not literal bad water overflow into here because of anything we've done here, but contamination leaching out because of these being levees, instead of having irrigation barriers all the way down, all the way around. So we're probably going to need to continue irrigation barriers, maybe to this pillar and then this pillar. We will see what happens. But moving up another level, we see we have these power shafts that are actually incomplete. That was a good catch. Let's do that. That'll get this last compact water wheel in there. I think the rest of these layers are fine, so let's just check that connection there. That's good. If you have it clicked on one of these power shafts or a water wheel, anything that's not attached power-wise will not light up. So it's very easy to just check real fast. I already see another issue we're going to have to take care of, but not related to power. Looks like this is, yeah, good to go. All right, so now we have to check and see if this is going to have any problems. And I already saw something incomplete that we'll need to take care of. Remember, as we go up, this not being built up all the way is totally fine because the water will just flow in this channel. It's only 2 CMS. It's not going to overflow basically whatever we do unless something is completely blocked. Come up here. This is all fine. This is where this is supposed to drop down, so that's good. We have all of these filled in, including on that end. Go up another couple. This one is where it's supposed to drop down. This goes here. This goes here. But... and thank you for pointing this out to me, because I was just going to be tempted to, you know, wrench this thing wide open and then see what happens. But there's nothing here. And if we were to turn this on right now, this would absolutely flood through here, cause a little bit of chaos, infect things, and then, of course, flow off this side. So, very, 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 very good thing that this was caught so it could be addressed. We're going to move on. Next level up. These are looking fine as well. This is where this drops down. That's all the way up. Go ahead and put another couple levels. This is fine. This is where this comes out of this thing currently, the column, and goes right down there. Everything's connected, so that looks A-okay. But this piece right here, this levee, is not completed because it cannot be reached. I mistakenly thought that they could reach all of this stuff up here, and for them to be able to build this on this level, we'd have to reconfigure everything. So let's go down to the next level. Hit them with one of these just simple suspension bridges. They shouldn't have to have that connected with a path. But once that's in place, that will give us 5 complete levels, which by my estimates should give us between 5,000 and 6,000 HP if everything's connected, everything's running perfectly fine. I think that's going to be okay. So we'll get that unpaused so they can take care of those things. We talked last episode about the whole irrigation thing. And I appreciate those of you who had input on that. It seems like the game, more or less, calculates irrigation based on adjacent blocks sideways, not up and down, unless there's some sort of carryover. So because this is completely broken up, this block cannot touch the water, even though it's still dirt. There's no horizontal surface by which dirt can be irrigated, whereas... when we have the levees here, then this breaks up the dirt stuff, and then, oh, hey, well, this block is actually underneath here, taken care of. But because this levee is not going to stop any irrigation or contamination from coming through, then that's why that works. That's what I was told by most of you in the comments, so I'm going to assume that's right. It seems right. I think we're okay. But you know how it goes. We also have these extra pillars here. that previously, before we decided to do this mess, were supposed to be for support. I think we can remove those, and I am still wanting to redo how our pumps and stuff are set up. Remember, we're going to have a lot of pumps. I'm not entirely sure the best way to handle it, but we can probably take these pillars out. I don't think it's going to affect too much with the irrigation, but it's additional space in the reservoir we can get back. We just have to be careful when we're using explosives because, bad things can easily happen. The other thing we have to address is we have, you guys call them cranes, I call them just two-way nonsense. We don't need these anymore. We've done essentially, not completely, but essentially all of our terraforming, nightmare scenario terraforming at least. These are going to have to go away for us to finish the rest of this reservoir, and considering we have a drought in progress, and we're only going to have maybe a minimum of 4 or 5 days, I don't think we could have this entire thing completed in that time, especially when we're working on this. But I think the time is now for us to say goodbye to all of these things and then start the process of building out the rest of the map. So, farewell. You've served us admirably well. We'll just have all of this completely gone in one fell swoop. Look at all these materials we're going to get back that we don't have storage for. I know some of you are going to absolutely hate that. So, what we can do, we can drop these on the ground, and then we can turn off production until they get picked back up, which I'm sure will cause absolutely no problems ever for the rest of time. But, wow, that actually lagged my computer a little bit. Farewell. We hardly knew you. But, anyway, all joking aside, this is going to give us our best chance of getting the rest of this taken care of. We do have pretty good access here. Well, considering. But, yeah, there's just so much that needed to be done here that it was just not going to be viable without us just taking absolutely everything out. And this would get us to the same level as, wow, whipping the camera all over the place. Same level as this other side here, except this has this little shelf on it. And obviously the intermediary things here are going to have to go away. This can be filled back in. Okay, looking at this actually isn't that much wood that needs to be laid down. It's just going to become an issue of can our builders do it, which right now we have 23 unemployed beavers. But keep in mind, all these pumps need to be running, and there's no water for them to suck up right now, so that's going to be something we're going to have to account for. I think we'll be at about net zero on beavers available versus jobs available, but you know how it goes. Since we're about to have the drought end, I will go ahead and unpause all of these. I know this one's disconnected. Don't worry, all of these pumps are going to be moved and stuff changed around before too long, so that won't be an issue much longer. But that should be just about perfect. Look at that go, and we've got one empty bed and we've got one vacancy, so we're not entirely perfect, but we're pretty close. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So they can't reach this yet, obviously, and I had to remove the cranes because they were blocking our ability to build the rest of this. That doesn't mean, however, that everything's going to be perfectly fine for this to get built without them in place, because obviously they can't reach stuff. So, seeing how we have an opportunity, I'm going to pop in a ladder on this very corner here and just get that connected. I know it's far away, but if they can build from multiple places at once, that's going to really make it a lot easier for this to get completed. And then also, this right here doesn't have the ability to, get to this because this is the backside of a tubeway station. But this tubeway station is actually a remnant of the old setup where we had the cranes here. So this doesn't need to be here. That goes away, and then all of a sudden they can walk on this, and problem solved. We just have to make sure they can actually build everything. So back down we go. Make sure all of this is coming in nicely. Looks like that's done. It looks like this is done, which is very good news. And now that's done too. Cool. So we can actually turn this on and we can get a very good feel for how this is going to be working with hopefully absolutely no problems. So turn that guy on. I will speed this up just a tiny bit because it does take a long time to come up. But yeah, I already see some infection spreading down there. So we will have to address that, but it is not because of water spilling. It's just what I talked about at the start of the episode. So, the layer, we can actually see these. Let's click on this first guy and watch our HP tick up as cycle 68 winds down. It should be pretty seamless, and I don't think 2CMS is going to ever have an opportunity to overflow, so I will just triple speed this. There we go. It might get real close, but it shouldn't back up. It should be totally fine once everything gets going here. And then I have another thing I want to discuss with you about what we're going to do for pumping badwater, because we do still need to have that. But for right now, I am laser focused on getting this done. Alright, here comes cycle 69. We've got almost 6,000 HP. It's not going to stay that high, but that is tremendous. I am in love with this. It's not perfect. Absolutely not perfect. We maybe could have done a slightly better design. But for where we are now, if this settles around 5,500, I think we're going to be in good shape. We're not going to need any other layers. We can, and I know a couple of you have asked that I do this, we can add 2 more layers on top of this if we really want to. I don't think I could do 4 more layers just based on height restrictions, but we'll see. If this isn't sufficient, then I'll add more layers. But I do like the idea of this very top layer being completely dirt, which, yes, we can add, but it's not going to be a big enough reason to keep those things there. So, like I said, start of cycle 69, we got these guys pumping. We've got water that currently is being depleted, but once this comes back through here, which it will very shortly, that's going to be doing just fine. Obviously, the way this is set up here with our sluice back here, this isn't going to fill up anymore until this side reaches 3 blocks of height. But remember, once this is done, we don't need these middle walls here, and they can completely go away. That's going to solve so many problems. I know. Bear with me here. This will literally just take time. I cannot pick up 10,000 pieces of rubble that we don't have storage for. And don't need storage for either. Just overnight. So, actually, these are all paused anyway, aren't they? They super are. Okay. Well, we'll be okay. We'll get it figured out. Now, this seems like that's going to be totally fine. We don't need to monitor it. Because we have limited time with the clean water coming in, I wanted to make sure that was taken care of. We've got mangrove trees growing here. We're harvesting the fruits. We need a couple more gatherer flags, but don't worry. We're going to do farm optimization, probably not this episode, but now that we're in the position where we can actually focus on getting the 1,000 beavers set up ready to go, it's going to go so much faster. Let's come back down here and address this. We have contamination, where we really shouldn't have contamination, but I'm pretty sure if we put irrigation barriers here and here just to these pillars, everything's going to be fine, because right here, again, go up 1 more level so we can see this. These impermeable floors are stopping contamination everywhere. So that means this right here just has to be from this side and this side of our pillar box that has the actual source on top of it, not being directly, well, I guess it's technically just this side, but not being directly adjacent to irrigation barriers. Also means, oh, that's so loud, we don't need this levee. Oh, is this structural now? Did I? No, I did not. Okay, good. Because I was about to be quite upset with myself. This is the only stuff that's going to get removed. Oh, it's so quiet without the sounds. No problems. I was a little worried when I saw that. We have 2,000 dirt. We will need dirt to use stuff like, as I point at the decontamination pod, to use the mud bath, but we are not going to need 4 dirt excavators ever again. So, say goodbye. That was the wrong tile for me to get rid of, but that's fine. That one's gone as well, along with that power shaft. Now we have space here. I'm about 99% sure I can do this and not cause any problems. We're going to figure it out live. we have all this water flowing out here. If I remove this levee, which I'm not going to do right now, don't worry. If I remove this levee, I can have it kind of, you know, flow here and through here to fill up an area of pumping. And based on how much these pump, which every hour of working, assuming 100% efficiency, blah, 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 it's 3 bad water per pump. Let's take a look at our consumption, which I love the goods consumption mod. Fantastic. How many times have I said it? Stop talking about it. Whatever. I don't care. The only thing that is using bad water right now is the centrifuge, which in 1 hour will use more or less 5 of these. We'll just say, for the sake of argument, it could be 5, could be 6. That means it produces 1 extract. We're going to need more than that. So I would like to plan for right now to run 2 centrifuges, which we're going to be redoing a lot of this anyway, because we're going to hopefully be able to get rid of the engines. Let's plan for 2 centrifuges, which means every 0.75 hours we need 8 bad water. And then we also have dynamite factories that we have 1 that's currently paused. But if we were running it every 3 hours, this would take 5. So it equals out. If we're producing at least 10 bad water per hour, we could run 2 of these. If we're producing more, we can also run 1 of these, and the math is a little fuzzy because of how they choose to define units. But if I go ahead and I put in 6 deep bad water pumps, that means every hour, every working hour, we will be producing 18 bad water maximum. Obviously, it's not going to be 100% efficient because nothing is, but I think that's going to be a good move for us to go to. And look at this. Just like I thought. That cleans up nicely. This, we're not going to worry about. Not worth it. So I think I've come up with an idea that is going to make this a viable option. So I'm going to hit pause just so I can think and I can zoom in and not have to hear stuff. We'll put in levees here. Put in levees here. Here and here. This space is going to allow me to put in platforms here and here. Here and here. And here and here. Then here, here, and here. The reason I've laid it out like this is so that we can put in bad water pumps. If I think, well, it doesn't really matter which way they get flipped, does it? But I would put them here, 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 and here. Obviously, we can have paths connect, but they can't go through here because of the positioning of this stuff. It's just the way it worked out. But that would give us 6 of these pumps, and then we could have this come through here all the way down if we felt like it. We do still have this vertical tubeway here that is currently going all the way up to this mess. Now, is this what needs to be here forever? Probably not. But this is a very good opportunity for us to integrate this directly on the correct level. Thank you. Good job. Right here. Unfortunately, this is 1 level too high, and I would have to completely dismantle this entire stack. So maybe it's not the best idea ever. We can make this ugly but working with just a simple ladder, then bring this all the way down. And then these guys, of course, will need access over here. So if I just pop in here, here, here. Very simple. All the way out. And then here, do the same thing just to get that access there. And then that will mesh very nicely with this area. There's cleanup that's going to have to be done. We already knew this. It's going to be totally fine. Don't worry about it. If I take this levee out and then I go down, now what I can do before things get crazy is come in here, not with irrigation barriers, with impermeable floors, and fill this entire thing with that. What that's going to do, just like we did here, is give us no bad water contact with the ground at any time. And because of how this is set up here, there's a possibility that this pillar and this pillar will cause a little bit of pollution to occur outside of here and here, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. So what we'll do is we'll let these guys... Oh, I got to zoom out. It's so loud. We got to let these guys build all of this stuff. And then once that's done, all these impermeable floors are in place. This one can get put back in place, and then this one can get removed. I don't think I'm going to have to even put a dam or a sluice or anything in here. I think I can just straight up take this out, and no problems will happen. About 90% sure. So they're going to work on that. We have all of this to hopefully get finished before the end of all this mess here. They're making good progress on it. We are pumping. We are dead even on vacancies versus unemployed. And we do have 4 incapacitated beavers that are in the injury beds, which, yes, we do have enough of those. So, that's a whole lot to talk about at the start of this episode and not make a ton of progress, but I think we're going to be really happy that we did what we did. So this seems to have evened out about 5,200? Yeah, okay, I can live with that. Obviously, these are all paused, so we don't have any idea how much this is actually consuming, but I do know that it's less, or that these engines are producing less, because their maximum output is 400, so that's 1,600 right here, and then another 800. You can do the math on that one. 2,400 is less than half of this. We are totally okay to not have any more engines. But before we do that, we do have to connect power to everything. And it's going to be a little bit sketchy. Maybe. We might have to do some finagling here. But I am pretty sure I can get this to work nicely if I just take a little corner jog like this and then build a contraption. Again, it's not going to have to be permanent like this. It's just going to be ugly until it's not ugly, and, you know, sometimes things are just ugly, and that's the way it goes. That's a good life lesson for you. But, all jokes aside, very, very simple for us to get this hooked up on top right here. Just go right over the path, and I am going to want to redo this at some point. The most important thing, though, is getting everything connected, getting everything working, streamlining our process over here, figuring out exactly what kind of production we're going to need for basically forever on industrial stuff. Most of the building's done. And we have massive, massive, massive stores of resources here and on the ground in our, shall we call it, unorganized storage. Just gobs of this stuff everywhere. I don't think we're going to need to expand this at all. Probably ever. All we have to do is build these monuments, which maybe the really only huge issue would be the Earth repopulator. But if we committed to a location for this, which I still haven't fully decided on, then we can start the process of allocating materials, and I think we're going to be okay. This guy, since we do have it unlocked, does have a height limit that it can be built on, and at one point I think we did discuss this. It says cannot be built at that height, so that would have to be slightly lower. Was it 1 block above the terrain? Yeah, okay. So if we were going to have this in the center of the map, we would lose our top 2 or 3 layers. It doesn't have to be in the center of the map. I'm pretty sure I could get away with just, you know, putting this either here or in one of these corners, just period point blank, right like that. That might actually be, you know, not bad. So I will defer to you guys, though. If you have a preference on where that should go, we have a lot of different options. I am kind of partial right now to putting it in one of the corners. Obviously, that would not be occupied, preferably. We'll see. We have time to decide. And now let's take a look at our irrigation, because this is starting to fill up. All the way down here at the bottom, obviously this is fine. We have a bunch of stuff contributing to that. Move up. This is looking okay. It is increasing as time goes by, because this stuff up here is getting helped out as well. So, yeah, okay, that went quick. So that must have been, okay. Yeah, this got up to this level here. Remember what we talked about a little bit before about how this has to have water in it before it can actually communicate any irrigation? So I guess that's fine. Problem solved there. We're going to continue working on this. That should be okay. I just want to make sure this bottom bit for our pumping is taken care of. Let's speed this up, triple speed. I don't think it's going to take them that long to build it. They're just, you know, kind of out of their element all the way down here, taking care of this. Gotta do what we gotta do. Don't forget also, we haven't built everything we need to build here. I did take one of these tanks out so we could build the rest of these trees. I have my tapper shack here that doesn't have anywhere to put all of the pine resin, because we have 1,200 of it. And, you know, we haven't been making the treated planks. In fact, those numbers are going down because I'm using them for things. Once we have everything hooked up power-wise, which might still take us a little bit, we can turn these things back on, continue filling up that storage. We do have storage for 720 of those, and that seems to be fine. Looks like this is filling up slowly. I really would like to have this completed, but, you know, it does, in fact, just take time. I kind of want to redo this. But this late in the game, it might not be a great use of our time or resources. I don't know. I've asked you guys to weigh in on this a bunch of times, and the consensus seems to be that this should go, but we will see what happens here. I also want to keep an eye on our population. It's hovering around 190. Obviously, our goal is 1,000, but I'm not going to rush to get there and, you know, kill everybody in the process. We're being methodical, making sure we can get stuff taken care of without it just being completely insane. So, good progress is being made here. It is, you know, just a little bit of a slow one as they get all the materials and bring it down here, so on and so forth. I think... okay, this ladder's almost done. They just haven't finished it. That would actually help a lot. Let's give that a slight priority boost so they can get that taken care of. And then do the same with that so they can access all of this from up top just a tiny bit easier. The wood situation, now that we're not going to be running so many engines, is going to improve. Maybe not dramatically, but it should improve enough for this to not be a problem. We're also going to need to have more spots for houses, because I've built most of the central core up with the houses that are going to fit in there, assuming we keep this same design, which means we need to find somewhere else to put homes. But that's what the top levels without the dirt are supposed to be for. Once we have all of our recreation and we start building all these other things on top of them, so on and so forth. But before we do that, we do have to make sure all the food stuff is set up, and yes, that does include all the food processing. That's going to be overhauled. I'm going to say that's next episode at this point. We're just laying the groundwork for everything now. Yeah, I thought this was going to get built a little bit quicker, so apologies on that. But overall, I feel like we're in a good spot. The berries are recovering slowly. I don't think I want to remove both of these dirt excavators, but I am going to leave them paused for now. If we ever need them, we can turn them back on. That's not going to be an issue. But seeing how this is set up, we may want to relocate these long-term to be closer over here, just so this space is going to be a little bit better for growing trees and bushes and all that stuff. But I don't want to move it right now. I feel like that's going to be borrowing trouble from the future if we do that. There are a couple of spots here that we had previously had scaffolding or something on. It'd be very, very easy right now to just fill those back in with trees. Oak trees, of course. And why is there not a path connection here? That's kind of baffling. I also, man, so many things like 10, 20 episodes ago I forgot that I was going to do, and I haven't done yet. Oh boy. Yeah, the tube-way above the path thing probably does need to happen, but again, we're going to lay out our farms first. We're going to get all that taken care of, and there are still a few spots that need to be filled in with the dirt. You know what? While we're waiting, let's just take a moment to do a little bit of that. I know the terraforming is something that you were all so ready to just be done with. And we're basically done with it, but we do have these nagging remnants going layer to layer. But we do have access two ways in the corners and through the center here as well, even though it's not like perfect. So I feel like we can finally get rid of some of this stuff. Like this mess right here. It's got to go. it's just got to go. Even if it kind of, you know, cuts things off and makes it a little difficult, it's got to go. And now we can just get this nice and completed. Should not be an issue whatsoever. It's just a little ugly for a little bit of time, and then you move on. Then we have all this stuff. I had not filled this in just because I didn't know exactly what was going to happen with this over here. But now that we have all of this in place, and I don't think we're going to need to have anything else, I feel pretty comfortable getting this taken care of. Now, it is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt just because we don't have access from above. But not going to be that bad of a time. We just have to be able to actually plug this stuff in here. And I don't think we're going to have problems. We're just going to need to check in on this from time to time and move on with that. So these ladders here technically are our only ways to get down to the bottom from this upper level that do not include the area in the middle. We don't really have any direct pathway connections from the center out, and that probably needs to change just to make this slightly easier on everybody. There's so many little things, you know, over the course of 30-something episodes of insanity and all that, it's very easy to see some stuff slip through the cracks. It just has to be fixed. But if that's if that's taken care of, then I can get rid of this. And I can get rid of this. Which means now these holes can be patched very easily, super simply, and as long as this is going to allow me to, you know, actually click on things, that is going to solve a very nagging, annoying problem that's been bugging me for a very long time. Now let's check and see. It looks like these are all in place. Yep, we'll call that done. Let's bring in this last levee here. These are all connected pathway-wise. A little far away at 71 tiles from the district center, but that's okay. Hey, guess what? We have a drought approaching, and we have 12,000 water stored. Again, drought duration here can be 29, 30 days. So it's good to have as much as we can. We're going to need to increase the number of pumps. We already discussed this. But now we have all of this space in the reservoir that can be filled, because look at this. It's beautiful. And now I can just open this no matter what, and it's not going to flood anything because every last piece has been put in place. Now, it is also worth noting that this is only one sluice, so it's going to take some time. If I just removed this wall entirely, there would be a massive flood because of the way the water physics work. So we will slowly and steadily increase this in a sane capacity before removing anything else. But water's, you know, it takes 11 days to fill this according to the goods tracing stuff. I think we're going to be fine. Going to be just fine. And the other good thing is that because I haven't removed the wall yet, which actually maybe I want to leave it in place, just add a couple more sluices to let stuff over. If they pump everything out of this side, this entire side's still going to have water. And guess what goes all the way down? Down to here. That's right, it's this side, because this is on its own level above that. You know, I kind of like that. Is it elegant? No, objectively. But I think that might be a pretty good accidental genius thing there. All right, so this is connected. That means now, bye, like a really out-of-tempo boy band concert. Let's hit pause. That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry, but I'm not that sorry. I have kind of a weird setup here. I'm not really in love with it. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work. So, because we have a centrifuge here, and because of what I removed where, we can kind of reorganize some of this stuff. These are all paused anyway, so who cares? Gear workshops, I think it would be nice if they're all lined up. I do have 3 here, so that would be a thing we could do right here. Just those 3 right there. We do have a storage there for gears, and I do have a total of 1,400 storage. That's fine. So those 3 there clears up some space on this side for us if we want to put in additional food factories. Remember, we have 3 of these here. All of this is disconnected, not because anything over here, but because this is not connected to anything, which has to be connected there. So I've got 5 wide by 3 deep here. If I remove these guys, it's 9 wide by 3 deep. You know what's 3 by 3? That's right, it's the food factory. I don't know why I said it like a carnival announcer, but that is going to make it possible for us to, you know, get a little bit more stuff squeezed in the corner here. So, 3 there. Once again, corn rations, eggplant rations, algae rations. There's a very good chance we're going to have to redo this anyway, but for right now, trying to focus more on food and less on power production, that's going to be good. That does leave us with the issue of how do we connect power here, but fear not, adaptive power shafts are our best friend, and I miss them dearly when I play water beavers, but since we have them now, super simple problem to solve. That'll get that taken care of quite nicely, and this is currently how the power is getting across this little gap here. But remember, we have the power of the food factories, which can transmit power on the second floor, like we just demonstrated there. So if we want to clean up the pathing just a touch, we can actually take these out, and then I can have this come over the pathway either here or here, and then go into a corner thing where we're not going to have to worry about all that mess. Now, we had 2 of those, what do you call them? Yep, very scientific term. Industrial lumber mills over there. I can put in 1, 2 here, and then I can have something else in the corner that takes power. Or I can try to squeeze 3 of these. Well, it wouldn't be squeezing. It would still fit just fine. But I could put 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then I could have the power just come straight across. In fact, you know what? I think that's going to be the best way to do it. We'll just pop that in right like so. And give ourselves a very... Come on. Click what I want you to click, please. Thank you. All right. Just get that there. Super simple. And I've got space right here. Well, there's nothing that's really going to fit there that takes power, but if we ever had to get into bots, that's what could go there. I'm going to try my best not to do that. Why is the game paused? I don't know. Let's unpause it. They got plenty of stuff to build to make this happen. Feeling really good about everything else. Once again, they can just pick up all that garbage off the ground because all of our production, save for the smelter, is paused. Which, guess what? Now that's paused too. Just only make food or only build or whatever you feel like doing. Let's come back down here. Did they build this other thing? Is this completely closed in? It looks like it is. All right, this is the this is going to be the leap of faith here, folks, because I'm going to have to commit. Let's take this path out. Get that guy out of here. You better leave. Okay, now this levee has to go away. And we're going to see just how well my my little theoretical design here is going to fare. So we have bad water coming through here. It's reaching those 2 pumps. It's now reached this one, that other one too. And it looks like we are in really good shape. Look at that. It's just filled up that pool. I do see a little bit of pollution, but honestly, I think this is going to be perfectly fine. All right. How much power? Same amount of power has not affected this at all. I am so glad this worked. I did not want to be wrong. I mean, for other reasons beyond just personal pride, but they'll put that in place. That will just be tremendous for us having bad water coming in, so we can continue making extract, which that was the other thing I needed to build up here. Yeah, remember when I was going to put extract in? Yeah, Pepperidge Farm remembers. Jeez, what a stupid meme. That would have gone tremendously well in one of these spots. Well, for right now, it's probably fine. If this could just keep up with what we're already doing, then I'll figure out somewhere else to pop this in later. I do have spaces over here that maybe I should have made, into these things. Well, I'm sure this is going to get just redone a billion more times, but for right now, everything's looking okay. These guys, of course, are going to do what they can do. We're not using all the food yet, but We've doubled our capacity for producing algae rations, which we don't even have any algae to ration, but eggplants and corn as well. That is tremendous. And this is looking good still. Minimal pollution, still some, but I think we're looking really good on this. Once again, pausing for my own personal sanity with the sounds. But it looks like, if I come down here, yeah, we have all of our impermeable floors, with the exception of this bit right here. But you know what? Maybe that does have something to do with it. Let's put one there anyway. See what happens. But this is just looking so good, so good. Have we filled this all the way up yet? Not quite. But water's up to 14K. We probably could build some more pumps. But we have a decision to make about the design of the top here. Remember, a long time ago, I said I was going to bump these corners out halfway to try and irrigate more and halfway to give us some more space to put pumps. I'm not really in love with what this has done design-wise. And staggering all this, obviously this is suboptimal. I kind of want to just bring this back in line to be the complete cube, minus the bit in the center. So let me know your thoughts on that. We're going to need a lot more pumps than this to sustain 100 beavers. I forget what the actual number is, but it's a lot of pumps. A lot more than this. So we will get to that at a time that makes sense for that. We've already gotten a lot of great stuff done in this one, even if it doesn't feel like it. I promise you we've gotten a lot of great stuff done. So let's, for the time being, throw a bone to all of us who are, shall we say, distraught about the state of garbage on the ground. Prioritize the pickup, if I can get it on the correct level. Come on. There we go. And just get as much of this cleaned up as we can. I know they can't reach this. Don't worry. Don't worry. I know they can't reach this. They'll get there at some other point in time. But if we don't start the process of prioritizing this, they're never going to pick it up. Even if they, don't have room for it now, they really aren't going to do it if I don't tell them to do it. So with all of the major production paused, eventually, as we consume other materials, they will have a need to pick these up, and they will be picked up as time allows. So for now, just to make this a little easier, I will give them a path all the way around the outside so they can come and grab... oh. That actually doesn't allow them to get all the way to the outside. Well. For shame. Okay, now they should be fine. But this will be a very large task for all of our builders and all that to grab all that junk off the ground. But hey, look at this. We filled all the way up, and we are halfway for the drought. We got 16,000 water. We can continue pumping with absolutely no guilt because water can't flow back through a sluice. I may have accidentally done something smart. Love to see it. So let's take a look at our notes here in the other monitor. I did have a couple other things I wanted to talk about regarding irrigation preservation. And that is, what if on this top level here, in the very corner, I built little pockets with, say, some dirt blocks, just like a 1x1. So we'd have a dirt block here, here, and here, and then make it a couple of blocks high so that when this is completely full, those little pockets would fill up, but when the water was pumped out, that would stay there until it evaporated. And knowing what we know about evaporation rates, if I made this 2 or 3 high, just to be safe, probably wouldn't ever run out, and that would irrigate all the corners here. So here we are, day 9 of cycle 69, 19-day drought incoming. We are in tremendous shape to survive this. And I think that would be cool. So I'm going to illustrate what I'm talking about here, just so we're all on the same page. But I don't want them to build this, because I want to give you guys some input on that. If I were to do something like this, just right here in the corner, that would trap water right here in this bit, no matter what got evaporated or pumped out from this side as a whole. That would stay there and be fine, assuming we're going to have pumps all over this mess eventually. And putting it in the corner means it would not have anything to do with the straw of a pump. The pump straw, closest one would be either here or here, so that would miss that entirely. And I think that would be a smart way to go about doing things. Because remember, if the top layer is irrigated and it's connected to the bottom layers, and the bottom layers are irrigated, so on and so forth, So we could do that here. I could also, down here, do a similar thing. Just like this. Just, you know, a little bit of extra insurance as this continues to go all the way down. Do you like that idea? Do you think it's dumb? Do you think it's smart? Wish you would have come up with it yourself? Let me know. If you guys want to see this, I'll build them. If not, then, well, I might build them anyway just because I want to do it. But I will take, of course, your opinions and your input into account. So I will leave this here, but I will pause them so they don't get built. And, of course, I will pause the dirt blocks up here because that's going to be the easiest way for that to not happen. This one, of course, has to wait for that one to be built, so that should be fine. So let me know about that. Very interested to hear your thoughts. The pillars here, we decided, did not need to exist. But selfishly, I am very, very curious about this pillar and this pillar because they directly touch this land that's irrigated, and they have the levee on the other side, so I think these might help each other out. But these guys right here definitely don't need to be here. They can be removed. Unfortunately, we did have to take the cranes out because, well, we had to get the rest of this built. So they're not going to be able to get to this right now. As we continue building things out, they will have access to it, so it shouldn't be a problem. Just know that that's on the list of stuff that we have to take care of. Okay, other stuff. We talked about next episode being the farming layout, fixing stuff. I think that's going to be a good project to tackle all at once. Very, very, very pleased with how this has panned out. Again, I really don't think we're going to need any more levels of this. If that happens, I'm happy to build 2 more. But I think these 5 right here are going to be fine. And it will allow us to have this entire top layer be dirt, hide this ugliness under there, and everything will be fine. So, I mean, we have so much space under here. I have absolutely no doubt that we will get all of our crops planted and everything will be perfectly fine. Maybe organized slightly better. Obviously, we're going to have some more farmhouses. But I think we could be very happy with the progress that we've made. We can fix some of this other ugliness here, build out the central core, so on and so forth. You know how it goes. But just to remind you, what I originally wanted to do was to put out 5 blocks from the outside, these central ring things, which can start out as paths and then can be later turned into tubeways with the help of our overhangs, so we can get a little bit more planting space, but honestly, I don't think we need it. I think our planting space is going to be way more than we're going to need. So we'll fill it up according to the prescription written to us in the previous episode's comments about space allocation. I've got it up here on the other monitor, but this is already 48 minutes long, so I don't think we're going to have time for that. 59 water pumps for sustaining the population, according to this. But that's only assuming constant pumping. I'll give you guys something better to look at while I'm talking about all this other stuff. That's assuming constant pumping and constant water coming in. When you factor droughts and bad tides into account, it's like closer to 350. I think the number is 344. Yeah, that's what that says. So, obviously right now, 20-something pumps, not going to cut the mustard for getting everything completely sustainable for entire drought periods. Filling this entire thing 1 layer deep is only going to get us to about 60 pumps, maybe 55. So that's where that double layer thing was coming into play that I talked about a couple episodes ago. So, like, see how much lower this already is over here and how much not lower this is? I like this. I like this. We've done something cool. But it's going to become pretty obvious pretty soon that we might need to take an alternative approach to additional pumping, which I guess one of the last things I'll say today. We have this level down here with the mangroves. This is basic. Oh, hey, these can be detonated. Let's do that right quick. B for boom. No, I pressed N for noom. That is not an explosive. Okay. And that maybe... No more irrigation in the corner? Ah, there it goes. A couple more squares. We have this set up. It's already dropping additional water down here. I made provisions for a second one in the corner here. Let's not forget, this is only 2 tiles tall down here. So, as it is currently set up, we cannot put any of these water pumps on this level. But, if we really wanted to change stuff, all we'd have to do is put a little offshoot channel into maybe the edge of the map or something, and then take some tiles out, make a little basin or something to put some more pumps in. I guess, I mean, maybe that's possible. Maybe I should have had all these be 3 tiles deep. It's a little late to change this design, and I'm not going to do that too, even if that is what ends up having to happen. But would appreciate your input on ideas for alternative pump arrangements, getting more stuff in place. We could, just expand the very top of the reservoir, the very top layer. It doesn't have to be 4 layers deep, 6 layers deep, or whatever the straw length is on these. I think it's 6, yeah. But would appreciate some creative ideas for getting some more pumps in, because even if we double layered this, it'd only be about 100, 120 pumps. And that's not gonna work. Not gonna work. I think even if we had bots in here automating all of this, it still wouldn't be enough with 100 something. Be better than 344 working on 18-hour shifts, that's for sure. But we'll see. I think, though, this is a good natural conclusion for this episode, assuming I haven't missed anything extremely major. Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I think we've got a lot of really great future-oriented stuff done today. Verified that what we've built works. And most importantly, nobody died. It's always the goal, right? So, really appreciate you supporting this series. This has been a lot to do. I shouldn't say it's been stressful, because at the end of the day, I'm getting to play a game I love to make money and support me and people I care about. So there's absolutely no room to complain here. But this series has been a lot. So I appreciate you bearing with me last week, previous week with the break I had to take with that. But we're back now. Things are looking good. The worst part of this playthrough is done. Now it's just the fun of getting everything allocated, set up correctly with the farming and figuring out production stuff. And then, yes, ramping up to 1,000 beavers and seeing how long we can make it last. Hopefully at least a full cycle. That was my goal. So, of course, you already know. You've seen their names on the screen a billion times, but I'm going to keep doing it till I'm dead. These people cannot be thanked enough. Beard boosters, of course. I realize now I didn't say what they were, but you watched these videos. You already know. You already know. They subsidize everything, make so I don't have to court sponsorships from, stuff people don't really care to see in Timberborn videos or any other games that we're playing. Just having a good time. And, the people that want to support the channel do so, and I'm always incredibly thankful for that. But it is time for me to head out, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again soon for more beaver fun and more other games as well. Take care. Bye-bye.